So the first thing we're going to do for this wildlife hospital tour is take a tour of the songbird room. So when you first walk into the songbird room, you see a ton of little cages in there. And in these little cages are either injured or sick songbirds, or in this case, right now, we have a lot of young songbirds, some nestlings that are being taken care of and hand raised. The next stop on this wildlife hospital tour is we are going to see what an intake exam looks like, and our wildlife rehabilitator Haley is going to walk us through that.
Okay, so we are just getting this patient into the hospital, so we are going to take a look and perform our initial exam to see what is wrong with it. So first thing that I'm noticing is that it's obviously not standing. Also, it's a fledgling curve-billed thrasher, so we always want to identify what we're working with. And then when you perform an initial exam, you always want to start in the same kind of pattern that you use on every patient. So I'm going to look at his eyes and the mouth. And then I'm going to pull out each wing. And then I'm going to feel the legs. Alright, so then when you're doing that kind of stuff, you're just looking for inconsistencies in the muscle tone, or if there's any fractures in the bones. Making sure that they have all their reflexes and they're trying to pull everything back in. And then the last thing that we do on initial exam is get a weight on them. So overall, what we found with him is that there is some soft tissue damage in his right leg, which is probably why he was flipped over and not standing in the box. So we are going to monitor him and put him on a pain medication and an anti-inflammatory for a couple of days.
Now that we've had a tour of the songbird room and seen what an intake exam looks like, we're going to go get a closer look at some of the patients that are residing in the songbird room. The first patient that we see is that curve-billed thrasher that we just saw the intake exam on. This next patient that we see is a common nighthawk, and this is actually pretty rare for us to get here in the wildlife hospital. The next patients that we see are some young house sparrows, and they are not quite at fledgling age yet, but they're getting there, and when they get to that age, then they will be moved into a larger cage, which we'll see in a little while. Now I'm sure you're all eager to see some songbird baby feedings, so we're going to start with these hummingbird nestlings. These are black-chinned hummingbirds, and they are getting fed a special nectar mixture. This nectar mixture has a little bit more protein than normal mixtures do, and that is to help them with their development. The next feeding we're going to see is some mountain chickadees. And these guys are quite a bit older than a lot of the nestlings we see. They're getting close to that fledgling age. So now they're getting a primarily solid diet. So that's what you're seeing right now, is they're getting crickets that have been soaked in water. Before this point, they were getting kind of a slurry formula mixture specifically for songbirds. And they are gradually transitioned from that diet into a solid diet, which is what they would be eating as adults in the wild. What you're hearing in the background of this video is a recording that we have playing at all times in the songbird room of various nature noises and bird noises. And that is just so that these birds are not getting used to anthropomorphic noises and so that they're comfortable being out in nature. That's also why we're doing a voiceover for this part, because we are not allowed to talk in this room. Now that we've seen where the little nestlings stay here at New Mexico Wildlife Center, we're going to go see where they go after they've graduated from the nestling phase and are in that fledgling phase. So once they reach that fledgling phase, they go into our fledgling enclosure. And this enclosure is quite big. There's a lot of branches and places for them to hop around and strengthen their wings. We also do not hand feed. We place dishes of food in here so that they're starting to learn how to eat on their own. And all of this is just preparing all of these birds to be successful adults in the wild. So now that we've seen some of the smaller songbirds, our intern Katie is going to walk us through the diets of a couple other species of birds.
Hi, I'm Katie and I'm an intern here at the New Mexico Wildlife Center, and right now I'm preparing stuff for the gosling we have outside. And so currently it's just a lot of lettuce, and we just cut it up so that's small enough for him to fit into his beak. And then in addition to this, we're going to put some waterfowl maintenance, and it has some carbs and other things like fish that would normally be in its diet. And then on top of that, we have some mealworms over here. And actually it's kind of cool because we grow them and they eat these potatoes, but basically you just shake it out and you see if you get any. And then after I'm done cutting, we'll go and put those on top. But one of the coolest things is where you learn about kind of how they eat is that we actually add water into this so that they get the feel like they're eating in the water like they normally would. And so this, in addition, because our gosling is a very hungry eater, she will literally eat whatever, and we will put more of the waterfowl in here. And that right there is a gosling diet. So here we have two corvid diets. The first one is the American crow, and it's a little tinier. And then the second is for two common ravens that we have outside. The diets are pretty similar, and they're both generalists, which is why we have a wide variety of foods. So we have dog food that is soaked so that it's easier for them to eat. We also have fruits and vegetables, and then later I'll cut up the wrap, but you guys don't have to see any of that part. So both for the corvids and the gosling, we're not able to actually show you the actual animals because they're both easily very imprinted on humans. So we're just going to show you the diet, which gives you kind of an insight into what they eat in their everyday life. And so even if you see one outside, you know kind of what they're eating.
Thank you for joining us for the Wildlife Hospital tour part of Celebration of Birds. I hope you enjoyed seeing a behind-the-scenes tour. If you're interested in supporting our wildlife hospital, please visit our website for more information on how to donate.